up? My name is Kay, and today I'm making some tofu scramble with avocado bagels. I'll admit that I'm not much of a breakfast eater, but I've always loved breakfast foods, and I can throw back some brunch. Only problem is that once you start eating plant-based, all of the eggs, bacon, sausage, pancakes, waffles, things covered in cheese leave you with very few options left at your typical breakfast joint. Fortunately for us plant-based eaters, we were blessed with two of humankind's most magnificent edible delicacies, that being tofu and avocados. The versatility of tofu and avocados is a godsend for plant-based diets, especially whenever it comes to breakfast creations. So, I know that tofu scramble has become something of a fad, especially over the past year, and there are so many different recipes out there. Nonetheless, after some kitchen adventures, I have come to make this simple variation of tofu scramble most frequently and thought I ought to share. But wait, that's not all. I have always loved bagels, and in one kitchen adventure in particular, I didn't have any toast for my avocado, and then I managed to create something phenomenal. What I have dubbed my everything avocado bagel. Let's get down to it.
For the tofu scramble, you'll be needing half of a block of extra firm tofu. To preserve the half that you don't use, store it in a tightly sealed container with water. Just replace the water daily and it should keep for about 5 days. You will want to drain some of the water out of the tofu or press it. Because we don't care much to keep the shape of the tofu in this recipe, I like to give it a few good squeezes over the sink, then just wrap it in a clean kitchen towel.
Now, I'm not one much for food waste, and just earlier this week, I made my one-pot vegan jambalaya. If you want to check that out, you can do so right up here. But I used only half of a red and green bell pepper in that recipe, so now I have half of both of those here at the ready for me.
So yeah, I just use half of one green and one red bell pepper, but you can use whatever colors you fancy. Slice those guys into strips, and then align to chop into nice and even-sized pieces. Now grab a yellow onion and chop off the ends. Chop it in half longitudinally, then chop just one of the halves in half again to attain just 1/4 of the yellow onion. Then chop up your onion quarter into even-sized bits and try your best not to cry. Next, I got a couple of garlic cloves and I'm using the side of my knife to crush them and make the peeling process less of a nuisance. Lastly, for prep, I grabbed one good handful of spinach, aligned them all nice, and removed the stems to slice into smaller pieces. Fluffy, fluffy. So, all the ingredients needed include half of a block of extra firm tofu pressed, 2 garlic cloves minced, about 1 teaspoon of iodized salt and half a teaspoon of black pepper, half teaspoon of paprika, 1 teaspoon garlic powder, 1 teaspoon onion powder, about 3/4 of a teaspoon of tumeric, 1 tablespoon of nutritional yeast, 1/4 of a yellow onion chopped, half of a red bell pepper chopped, and half of a green bell pepper chopped, and 1 handful of spinach chopped. I prefer not to cook with oil, so I'm using veggie broth. It made a little face. Add the onions and bell peppers and the garlic to the pan to saute for a few minutes until aromatic. Next, we add the tofu. Using your hands, crumble it up as good as you can right over the pan. You can use a spatula to break up any larger chunks that you don't get. Season with the salt and pepper and the onion powder, garlic powder, and paprika. Go ahead and mix that well until combined and saute for a couple of minutes. Now, the turmeric and nutritional yeast, what really gives this scramble its color and consistency. Mix it up and it will turn a nice bright yellowish orange. Add more broth when needed to prevent sticking and cook for a couple of minutes. Lastly, add in the spinach and mix it up until it is wilted.
So just the other weekend, I went to a vegan market here in Austin. If you want to check out that vlog, you can do so up there. But any hoozles, I got this black salt powder. And black salt is something that a lot of people put in scrambles, like tofu scrambles or chickpea scrambles, because it's very sulfuric and it gives it an eggy flavor. I personally have never tried it. I went ahead and got some so I could do so. So I think I'm going to take maybe about half of the tofu scramble that I make and leave that behind and add some of the black salt that I got to see what I think about it.
So I scooped out about half of the scramble and went ahead and added in that black salt. But it's actually pretty pink, isn't it?
So here is the scramble that I made that I added the black salt in. It definitely smells more egg-like. So we'll see how it tastes. Here goes nothing. I don't know if I just didn't put enough of it in there, but it doesn't really taste that much different than what I normally make. Maybe just a little extra salty. Oh, doesn't really taste much different to me. The lovely thing about tofu scrambles is the fact that, unlike eggs, you can reheat them for days afterwards. Toss that stuff into a burrito with some beans and some avocado slices, or put it on top of some toast with some sriracha, or even just, shovel it right into your mouth. Either way, no matter what, it's gonna be good. Tomorrow morning, I am definitely making burritos out of this. Heck yeah. It's bagel time!
Alrighty, grab a ripe avocado, remove the pit, and scoop it into a small bowl. The one I grabbed was pretty ripe. Mash the avocado with a fork and add some black pepper and sea salt to taste. Now I've got a ridiculously large cucumber and I'm going to cut myself 6 slices and then cut those in half to create 12 half moons. That's it for prep, and these are all the ingredients. We've got our mashed avocado, sliced cucumber, just a bit of hummus. I'm using roasted red pepper, but I also love using a roasted garlic flavor for this recipe as well. Some raw pumpkin seeds, and an everything bagel. Toast your bagel. I personally like mine to be pretty crispy. Now we assemble. Spread a thin layer of your hummus, but if you really love hummus, you can always do more. Next, spread a heaping amount of avocado onto the bagel. The more, the merrier. Then evenly lay the cucumber slices on top. I like to make it all pretty like this. Top with a good amount of the pumpkin seeds. Then I like to finish her off with a sprinkle of paprika.
Those are good. I love these things. Like avocado toast? Nah, avocado bagels. I'm gonna keep enjoying this bagel and my scramble, but you should like this video and subscribe to my channel, and also subscribe to my blog at www.kaylinwester.com, and follow me on Instagram, and that's at Kaylin Wester, Kaylynwester.